Hello, I am a standard critic and let's get this over with. After the critical failure of Trail of the Pink Panther, producers attempted to make another Pink Panther film without Peter Sellers by having more action and less boring conversations, and yet it still bombed horribly. It suffers the curse that occurs with film franchises that overstay their welcome. So, let's take a look at the appropriately titled Curse of the Pink Panther. We start off with the exact same opening scene from Trail of the Pink Panther. No, please, don't reuse any more scenes from previous films. That idea never worked in the first place. Luckily, it's the only one they reuse, as we cut to the thief trying to sell the diamond to Joanna Lumley, now playing a countess instead of a reporter.
It'll have to be split up. We'll lose at least 40% of it.
Enough.
What?
I am Clouseau.
Well, he's not exactly Inspector Clouseau because that's obviously not Peter Sellers. Wow, fakest death ever. We cut to another opening credits sequence. No, David Niven is not the protagonist. No, not Robert Wagner either. Ted is the protagonist, but why put his name in the last place?
1 year ago today, Inspector Jacques Clouseau, the police academy's most illustrious graduate, disappeared.
We see Herbert Lom playing Inspector Dreyfus again, who has been put in charge of an operation to find Clouseau.
If France's greatest detective is missing, then get the world's greatest detective to find him.
And how do you find the world's greatest detective?
By computer. Interpol has computer files on every law enforcement agency in the world. And I'm supposed to program the computer to select Clouseau's clone.
Apparently, Interpol has a computer with artificial intelligence because we all associate the Pink Panther franchise with science fiction, am I right?
Chief Inspector Dreyfus Sûreté, vital statistics, please.
Coming up, Dave.
How's his health?
May 1978, suffered nervous breakdown and was committed to the state's mental...
What are the odds that the greatest detective in the world will find Clouseau?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Shame on you, Aldous.
Nobody's perfect. Have a happy day.
Dreyfus doesn't want Clouseau to be found, which begs the question, why was he chosen by the government to run this operation if he hates the guy? So he seeks help from a computer expert.
Can you rig a computer so that no matter what I program into it, it will select the exact opposite?
How are you going to get me into Interpol?
No, I can't.
Well, then how do you expect me to rig it?
I don't. I expect you to tell me how to rig it.
Corruption in the police department? That never happens in real life. The computer is sabotaged, off screen as we never see it happen, and the selection takes place the next day and shown on television.
IQ? Genius.
Is that it, Chief? Select.
Coming right up.
Chief Inspector Dreyfus is obviously nervous.
Lady, you're facing the wrong way. The camera is behind you.
I have come up with your man, Officer Clifton Slay.
Clifton Slay, played by Ted Wass from soap fame, turns out to be a clumsy policeman from New York City.
Thought you didn't smoke. I think it kind of goes with the look.
That's a nasty cough you got there, lady. You should not have been smoking.
I lost a contact lens.
What?
I lost a lens. What? Look, I'll look for it later.
Wow, 1 minute in and already I find him unfunny. Clifton is also hated by his boss, who gladly sends him to France just to get rid of him.
Until this came, I was a desperate man. Faced with two choices. Retirement or murdering you. Bon voyage, Slay. Bon voyage.
We cut to the Mafia and their leader, Robert Loggia.
Business is booming since Clouseau disappeared, huh?
Yeah, my book's showing an increase of 18% since February.
You don't take a genius another when Clouseau isn't around, business flourishes.
It's still hard to believe.
Are they suggesting that Clouseau was the only policeman capable of stopping the Mafia? Then that would mean that the whole police department is run by idiots.
This American detective is as good as they say he is. We're gonna have Clouseau right back in our laps.
Can't take that chance.
So what do we do?
We get rid of the American.
Clifton is about to board the plane when a henchman prepares to kill him. What just happened? Either this assassin was very clumsy or he was trying to kill himself on purpose. Clifton arrives in France, but more henchmen are waiting to kill him. That is the most evil thing you will see throughout this film. Are these the best assassins the Mafia could afford? They seem incapable of even winning a paintball match. Clifton is about to meet Dreyfus, but their meeting starts on the wrong foot. Dreyfus died upon impact and Clifton was sent to prison for homicide. The end. No, not really. Dreyfus miraculously survived the fall, while Clifton goes to Clouseau's apartment, which has been turned into a museum. But it's just an excuse for another fight from Clouseau's former son, Cato. You can tell that the agent was too old to fight. Look how he moves.
I'm sorry I attacked you. And I was hoping I could beat you up so badly you might give up trying to find Inspector Clouseau.
Why don't you want me to find him?
Because he used to beat me up so badly, I kept wishing he would disappear.
Really? That's not what you said in the last film.
And now with your boss gone, no more sneak attacks.
Sometimes when you do something long enough, you miss it, even if it was painful.
Tell me about this Professor Balls.
He used to make all of the inspector's disguises. He was the last one to see the inspector alive.
No, that's not true. The last people to see him alive were the people back in England.
You don't say.
Clifton goes to see Professor August Balls, played again by Harvey Korman, who gives him a new disguise. Because repeating scenes from previous films means comedy.
Observe, you see, he rolls here are little wheels concealed in his paws. Every 30 feet he barks.
Stop it, man! Stop blowing through the dog's bottom, it's disgusting!
I've got to get this stuff off my hands.
The Mafia tries to kill Clifton again, but he is saved thanks to a dog and the assassin's bad aim.
That makes 3 attempts on my life in 2 days.
I am lucky. I've only had one.
Okay, that was funny.
Since Inspector Clouseau disappeared while investigating the theft of the Pink Panther, I thought I'd visit the scene of the crime. I leave on the next plane.
You leave? Good. I mean, good luck.
Let's hope your airplane disappears too, just so we don't have to put up with your annoyance anymore, Mr. Clark Kent lookalike.
You know, I just want to tell you how grateful...
Clifton goes to Lugash to analyze the scene of the crime, falls down a hole, and then decides to go back to France to interrogate Sir Charles. Seriously? He went all the way to Lugash just for a lame joke and in the span of 1 minute?
I just had word that he's arrived from the south of France.
We see Joanna Lumley naked and talking to a mummy who I assume is Clouseau from the sound of his voice.
Chief Inspector.
I don't think that we've got anything to worry about. All things considered, I'm glad you had the surgery.
Clifton goes to see David Niven in his final film role, as well as Capucine and Robert Wagner.
But it's funny you should ask me that. Oh, it's not that.
You know, this Clifton Slay is a lame replacement to Peter Sellers, as he lacks charisma or any type of character development outside of being clumsy.
You wanted to know if Clouseau questioned me about the theft of the Pink Panther. He questioned me 3 days after the robbery. He stayed for lunch.
And fed in the pool.
When? When did that happen? There was absolutely no mention of it in the last film. So why are the screenwriters making up this new plot point? Are they seriously contradicting their own universe? It's like having Dreyfus being erased from existence in one film and then having him back from the dead in the next film with no Oh wait, they did that. Yeah. Never mind. Carry on.
Then, Inspector Clouseau took off for Valencia.
Valencia.
It's in Spain.
Ah! That Valencia.
Valencia? The Mafia puts a bomb underneath the taxi that's taking Clifton, which is driven by one of the rebel pilots from Star Wars. But other men of the Mafia who are unaware of the bomb for some reason try to shoot Clifton.
Whoa! Damn! Who the hell's trying to kill you? I don't know!
This reminds me of a certain event in which I was kidnapping a reporter, and that scene was not very funny.
I can hold it. Pull on! No, I'm all right.
This is physically improbable, yes sirree. Just when you thought the explosion would look cool, it turns out to be just as disappointing as the whole film. This is all they show of it. Clifton tries to hide from the Mafia by sitting next to a sex stall in a bar that just so happens to have Adolf Hitler as a waiter. Okay, he's not really Hitler, but let's be honest. If your drinks were being served by a man who looks like this, would you call him by any other name?
Lovely here, isn't it?
Having a doll next to you doesn't disguise you. You're still 100% exposed, and the doll's presence will draw even more attention, like what's happening right now.
Say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Clifton tries to hide in a hotel instead of going to a police station like any normal person, and the doll is losing air, so he decides to fill it with gas and forgets to turn it off.
Where the devil are you?
I don't know the name of the hotel. Look, I don't know what the point of this is, because even if I knew where I was, you're there. And I'm dizzy.
While that's going on, the Mafia finds out where he is.
Excuse me? I'm interested in Monsieur Smith.
That's better.
The explosion severely damages Dreyfus' ear, and Dr. Bill Nighy, no really, that's Bill Nighy playing a doctor.
But if you are careful and avoid all loud noises, partial hearing should be restored in a few days.
What about the ringing? It's very loud. I keep wanting to answer the telephone. What if I can't distinguish the difference between the ringing in my ear and the phone?
That could be a problem.
There! It's getting worse.
The fact that Herbert Lom is the funniest actor in this film begs the question, why couldn't he be the protagonist? I mean, think about it. His character has better backstory, better development, and better motivations than this guy. Something went wrong during the writing process.
He just checked in.
Robert Lodge and his henchmen plan how to kill Clifton.
But just to make sure, I've hired a backup. Mr. Chung. He's a ninja. The most powerful human killing machine in the world.
Wait a minute! Didn't he die in Revenge of the Pink Panther when he fell through several stories? Who am I kidding? Some people just can't die, not even with 20 nuclear bombs. I will admit, this film can be funny when the slapstick goes to the extreme. Clifton arrives in Valencia during a carnival, but Robert Lodge and his henchmen follow him. Why are they jumping? No, seriously, why? Is the music so addictive? He's hitting one of his own men? Why? And how come this scene is poorly directed? Stop jumping! It's not funny or logical. Are there any Spanish stereotypes in this bar?
Hi!
Hi.
Some British chick somehow gets involved and beats the shit out of the mafia's asses and Clifton using the dustbin lid. After knocking them out, the British woman is attacked by Mr. Chong. How will Mr. Chong be defeated? The answer is less exciting than you expect. And just to make matters worse, that's the last time we see the Mafia in this film. Their entire character arc throughout these two films was entirely pointless and wasted. They were just an excuse to add action and to drag the film's running time.
Can you tell me the name of the young lady in room 310?
Giulietta Shane.
Thank you very much.
It turns out that the woman was also following Clifton and tries to seduce him.
But I want you.
Oh, God.
Now.
This is my big chance.
Don't blow it.
No, I mean, to prove once and for all that I'm a good cop.
And I want you to prove it too.
Children, look away!
Here's to being here when you get back.
The woman is shot by a dart from Dreyfus, who happened to be there, and the police arrive immediately to arrest Clifton.
Come on.
Wow, this film suddenly got dark. Clifton takes this opportunity to escape and gets a lift from Robert Wagner, who also happened to be there. Apparently, the seaside was 12 hours away from Valencia because they got there by sunlight.
You see, there was this young lady, Julie Morgan.
I know Julie Morgan.
Didn't she work for Countess Chandra?
Yes.
And now it's imperative I find this Countess Chandra.
Didn't she own an exclusive house spa in Mallorca?
We're going there, on our way.
And we'll be very happy to give you a lift.
Meanwhile, in Mallorca, Clouseau's surgery is completed.
Ta-da!
My God! It's fantastic!
Here, have a look.
Happy?
They're still not showing his new face because they are building up the surprise. Clifton and the Lytton family arrive in Mallorca and try to find a way to get a good view of the Countess' house. Look at me! I'm moving my legs like a complete idiot! Dreyfus has very good aim because he blew up the rope that was holding Clifton, who lands on the Countess' house.
Are you alright?
Yes. Yes, I think I am, thank you.
Clifton stumbles upon Clouseau, who has changed into Roger Moore? I did not expect that!
You!
Yes, it is me.
Before I left New York, I read you were making another movie.
This was made back when Roger Moore was still popular for playing James Bond. But boy does this cameo suck. His attempt at imitating Peter Sellers is embarrassing, and his French accent is so unconvincing.
I am smoking the wrong end because I have a very good reason. Bent over. And when I have the time, I come here to take the waters Very cleansing. I enjoy a good cleanse.
God damn it, Kevin Kline was a better Frenchman than you.
Have you ever seen this man before?
Well, he came here about a year ago, but he said his name was Gino Rossi. He wanted the name of a good plastic surgeon, so I recommended Dr. Prosper Stang of Madrid.
Clouseau and the Countess tricked Clifton into believing that the thief who stole the diamond was the inspector himself, and although Dreyfus doesn't believe it, he has the case closed.
I have compared Clouseau's fingerprints with those of the dead man, and they are identical. Oh, yes. There's no doubt that Clouseau is dead.
A good cop gone bad.
Yes, well...
Case solved, I guess. Except for several things that the film never answers. How did Clouseau survive the plane disappearance from the last film? How did he know where the diamond was? Why did he team up with the Countess if he's a good guy? And if so, what changed his mind? Was he tired of being a detective? Why did he decide to change into a James Bond actor? Why aren't any of these questions being answered?
I haven't seen it for such a long time. The Pink Panther. Oh my God, it's gone.
Swine phantom.
The diamond was stolen by none other than the Lytton family.
By the way, I seem to be missing a glove.
Always leave something for something is my motto.
I'll drink to that.
And that's the end of the film, and I have to say, it feels like very little has changed. The Mafia has probably carried on with their business since no detective is stopping them. Clouseau is to live the rest of his life as a celebrity, and the diamond is never returned. This is not the great sequel without Peter Sellers that we are promised. The main character is bland, most of the actors are wasted, and a lot of the plot points go nowhere. But, as lazy as it is, it's not as bad as the previous film. At least there's a story, at least some of the slapstick can be funny, and Herbert Lom always gets a laugh out of me, and if he was the protagonist, this film could be more tolerable. It's bad, but compared to Trail of the Pink Panther, Curse of the Pink Panther is a slight improvement. I am a standard critic, and thanks for watching.